Welcome back to my Darling Bride podcast, powered by Refuge and Fortress Network. It is yours faithfully and sincerely, Emmanuel O. and
Lonnie O.
And yes, we want to welcome you back to the month of April. We want to welcome you to the month of April.
To the month of April.
It's so funny because in March, all I was saying was April. I don't know why I kept repeating that.
And now
we're finally in April. So April,
so
whatever you got for me.
What were you expecting?
We'll see. We are expecting great things in this month of April. And as you can see, the background is looking a little different now.
Something is different.
Something has changed, right? And that is because
it's not just the background. They can see us talking.
Oh, yes. put a face to the name, right? At least from the MDB standpoint.
From the MDB standpoint, yeah.
But in this month of April, so we're switching it up a little bit, right? We are going back to video. We're going back to video. Woo! Yes, a lot of people have been asking us to bring back the video. They want to put face to the name, face to the voice. They want to see reactions.
They want to feel it.
You know what I'm saying? They want to feel like they're a part of the conversation, and I completely understand.
Yes.
And so we're bringing back video for my Darling Bride podcast. And also, we're going to be changing the time to Sundays now.
Yeah.
We used to do Sundays before, but we're bringing it back to Sundays again. Why? Because we want to have a living room conversation, if you will, where we're sitting together and we want you all to be part of that conversation as well, and comment in there and let us read your comments and everything like that. So that is what we are doing for the month of April. But we have a new series this month, and I'm just going to pass that on over to you.
Yes. So this new series this month, it's really just a get to know your host, right? For those people that are just joining us, thank you for joining. Thank you for subscribing. For all our latest new subscribers, it's great to have you here. And for our old timers, our day ones, it's always great to have you. So we just want to do a get to know us series, right? Where we talk about our love story, our marriage. We're going to be asking each other questions, and it's not for some people that want to know like the details. We have a bunch of videos out there about our story, about our marriage that you could find on our YouTube page. But we're going to ask each other a series of questions where we just kind of give you a little get to know us, get to understand how we work, get to know us about our marriage, our love story, our family values, our parenting lifestyle, and just things that just embodies what this union is about.
Get to know your host. That's the focus of the
April
series this month.
Yes.
Amen. So what are we doing today?
All right, so this week, what we're tackling is mostly our love story and our marriage, right? So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting one.
Before you go ahead, if you're yet to subscribe, this would be the best time to do it right now. If you didn't subscribe before, the best time to have done it was yesterday, but the next best time is now, right? So don't waste too much of your time. Go ahead and subscribe. It's about to be a ride. We're going to take you on a journey, and we want you to join us on this journey, right?
Enjoy this moment.
The whole point of my Darling Bride podcast, before you go into your questions, is we come together to dig, to discover, and to deploy. I want to say, but before we used to say discuss, it's more than just discussing. We want to send these nuggets, these truths, these precious gems out there and put them to work and actually begin to see them work in our marriage and in our relationship. So I took the liberty of switching that up to dig, discover, and deploy.
Okay, I
like that. It. Put it to work, right? Don't just come together and listen, but actually take steps, apply it to your home and your relationship. So like I said, we come together, we dig, we discover, and we deploy kingdom gems for the building of precious gems, rather, for the building of kingdom homes and relationships. We are going to be talking anything from marriage to relationship to single to newlyweds to parenting,
family,
to family, right? Finance, as it has to do with the family, right? We're talking about parenting and ministry, marriage and ministry, finance and ministry, lifestyle, right? We're gonna be talking about all of that. And when we do travel, right, we're going to try as much as possible. Can't make no promises because it's a lot of work to vlog. But when we do travel, we're going to bring that over to the studio and actually show that, right?
Yeah.
And the reason behind that is because we want to highlight family the things that people do behind the scene to make them family, because it goes beyond just this conversation that we're having right now, right? It's the cooking together, eating together, traveling together. It's the what do we do when we wake up on the weekend, right? How do we balance ministry, work, business, and things like that? The behind the scene, right? It's
what you don't get to see.
What you don't get to see on a regular basis. So we're going to try to see how we can incorporate that into MDB. Other things that we mentioned before that we're still going to be doing, as by the grace of God, is to bring guests over physically when possible. And maybe online too.
It depends.
It depends if we can get them audio, sure. Right? We just don't want, we want to maintain quality. That's really the thing. And you can't guarantee quality when you're dealing with people from all over the world
in the studio.
That are not in the studio. You can't guarantee the same quality. So that's a bit of a challenge. And so we're going to put some more emphasis on bringing people physically to talk with them and things like that. Sometimes they will be co-hosting with me, you know, or sometimes they'll be co-hosting with you, and it's going to be a blast.
Right.
It's going to be a blast. All right.
All right. So this week we're discussing, we're going to be asking each other questions about our love story and about marriage, just to have you get to know us a little bit, right? So I have a question for you. So my first question really is, how long have we been together and married? That's two different questions, by the way, but it's combined.
That's easy now.
How long? Let's just even start. Let's start. Let's start somewhere. So, how long have we been married? How long have we been together? How long have we been married?
We've been together 14 years. Okay. Right or wrong? 14, right?
Correct. Okay. I want to see what you were gonna say.
Come on, that's easy. That's easy. And we've been married. Going to 8 years to this July.
Yes.
Correct.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
Correct.
That's all right. Wait.
No. Let me tell you something.
Yes.
There's some people that do not know. There's some men that do not know. Okay. So.
Well, it's because they're not in the kind of space that we're in as far as relationship podcast and ministry is concerned. We talk every week about relationships.
We do.
And then so there's not a
reason for them to remember.
You wouldn't remember. And I mean, I think we mentioned this maybe 2-3 weeks ago.
You should remember.
Right. So we kind of have to remember, right? So, and it's not to say those who don't remember something wrong with them. There's absolutely nothing wrong. It's just,
you can take that. That's up to you and your household.
You know.
That's up to you and your household.
But this is good though. This is a good question to ask, right? Yeah. Because it gives context to what we're saying, right? The things that's worked for us, the length of time that we've been together, in addition to how long we've been married. Now, some people be like, "Wait, hold on, y'all dated for 14 years and they got married for 8 years?" No, we've been together a total of 14.
Yes, including
out of those 14,
exactly,
we've been married 8
years.
So we actually dated for how long? From
6.
Okay,
about 6 years.
6 years. Before
we got married,
right? So 6 years dating, 8 years married.
So we've known each other for 14 years.
Exactly.
Wow.
No, it's good.
A long time.
No, well,
I mean, in perspective, but that's a long time. Okay, that's a long time to know somebody.
Let me ask you this though.
Boy.
So where was our first date? Do you remember?
On Uvu now. No, listen, I'm just playing because we were long distance for about a year or two after that. So our first date, what I remember was a year after we dated, after we met, actually, sorry. A year after we met, you came by. It's two things that come into my head, and I could be wrong about this. The first time was the year after we met, where we met again at the convention. We went out after all the programs, and we went out on a date. Okay. I don't remember the restaurant. Okay. But I do remember us going out, and we wore white. Do you remember that? We had on a white. You had on a white shirt. I had on a white dress, I believe. But we were like, I don't even remember that. But I believe that was the first day because I think that was in Virginia or something like that. Okay. Is either that or when you came to visit me in New York, and you met up with me, for those that are in New York, in Queens, New York, and we went out to the mall, and I don't remember where we went, but we just went all out. Like that whole day was just an eventful day. Those are the two days I remember. You remember something else?
No. I mean, you right. I guess I don't know.
You don't remember our first date?
I don't remember our first date.
Yeah, to be quite honest, I had to think about it. I think it's one of those two. I don't remember which one came first, but because we did long distance the first 2 years of our relationship, it's almost hard to pinpoint because we saw each other like a year after we met. For a whole year we were just kind of like online long distance. We didn't even physically see each other. It was the following year that we saw each other, and I think we went out on a date that day because I remember I was going to some, I think it was like in Virginia. Yeah, we went to some restaurant like that. I don't remember restaurant, but you had on a white shirt. I have the picture, that's what I remember. You had on a white shirt and I had on like something white like that. That's what I think that was the first time.
Okay. So the reason behind that question, what I'm trying to ask, really, for
you were trying to see if you're trying to remember because you don't remember.
I definitely don't remember. I mean, I'm not gonna front. I don't remember. See?
Yeah, I believe that's when it was. Yeah,
I remember because we go out a lot.
We do go out a lot,
and it gets mumbled up sometimes. You know?
I mean, I'm just thinking about that first year.
The real question.
We didn't really see each other that first year.
And that first year was.
It was a lot going on too. It was a lot.
The real question was, what was your first impression of me when you first met me?
When I first met you, my gosh.
What was your first impression of me?
Do you know what? I'll be honest. Seeing you the first time I saw you, obviously the first thing you see is physical. So in my head, I'm like, ooh, you look good. That was the first thing that came to my head, right? The second thing was, ooh, this guy must be a player.
Whoa, what give you that impression?
Because let me tell you something. Throughout that whole program, everybody that was around me was like, ooh, and I just felt like I was hearing things, and I'm just like, this boy's gonna be trouble.
Oh boy!
But my first impression was like, ooh, he looks good. Who's this? Because I didn't remember. I've not seen you before. That was my first time seeing you at the program, so I was like, yeah, he looks good. That was my first impression. You look good.
Let's pause right there. What give you that impression that this man was a player?
First of all, your demeanor. Is that right? You came in hot. You came in like you were ready to
what?
I don't know, but you came in with a demeanor.
The boy was just doing his thing, right? At that time.
That right there.
Whoa.
That right here. The boy was just doing his thing. What was his thing? What was his thing?
He was just quiet.
Well,
right? He was doing his own thing, minding his own business. That's what I mean. The man, I was minding my business. Okay, I didn't.
That was my second impression. My first impression was like, "Ooh, you look good." My second impression was like, "Oh boy."
Well, okay, so let's go deeper, right? When you then met me and we actually spoke and things like that, what was your impression then?
I was like, "Wow, there is a lot of depth with this guy." Because when you see, like I said, those first two impressions are interesting because you see the physical and you're like, oh, he look good, right? The second impression was like, oh, this guy's gonna be a player. I mean, all the girls, you know what I'm saying? But then when you have that kind of mentality, you're also careful. I was being careful because number one, I wasn't trying to get into anything crazy. I wasn't trying to get into any situationship. You know what I'm saying? So we're having that impression. I'm just like, let me just mind my business. So and then you came to me, right, and then we got to know each other and started talking. And I'm just like, there's actually a lot of depth with you. You understand what I'm saying?
So here's my question to you: if you knew that this dude gave off the impression that he would be a player, right? Why did you engage in the conversation?
Well, the way you came. Well, here's the thing. I had heard a lot of things.
About who?
No, nothing bad. It was just like people were about you. Like meaning like people were interested in you. It wasn't just what I'm saying. Like
you just met me.
No, not.
What did you hear?
No, I didn't hear anything.
Who told you
no,
what?
I'm not saying I heard anything about you. Like, 'cause first of all, this is the first time you've been in our environment. So no, what I meant was I've heard a lot of things. Meaning like, I wasn't just the only one that found you attractive at that point in time. So I knew a lot of people were looking at you. And I had a feeling you were probably looking at a lot of people too. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was just like, okay, I'm gonna just, and plus I already had a preconception about coming to something like this, I know what them guys do. You know what I'm saying? I know what they're coming there to holler at this girl, holler at that girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, they do stuff like that. So I wasn't interested in none of that. So that's why that was my first like impression, like, or my second impression was like, yeah, I'm just mind my business. But then you came up to me. But interestingly, so in my mind, I'm like, okay, out of all the people that were trying to talk to you, you felt the need to come to me. I don't know who you spoke to before me, but I just felt like, okay, let me just
the funny
get
thing,
to know you.
I actually didn't talk to anyone. Not like that.
No, I know what you mean.
I said what's up, I said hi, bye, things like that. But once I locked eyes with you, I think that was it. I don't know what happened. It was like you whatever you did.
I captivated.
Yeah. What
took your
whatever
soul.
You did was like, whoa.
I snatched your soul.
Nah, you didn't snatch. Only Jesus can snatch my soul.
Oh my God.
But no, I think that was, and the reason why I'm asking all of this, right, is because number one, your first impressions matters, right? And that goes both ways, whether you're a guy, whether you're a girl. Whatever first impression you give off matters a lot, because that is the one thing that people remember the most, right? And then apart from that, not everybody gets a chance to change
that impression.
That's
right.
And I feel like, yeah, you had your first impression, but then after conversations, so what does that mean? That means while you do have whatever first impression you think you have, also take the time to talk to the person and get to know the person. I mean, good thing we spoke. Good thing I came to you and we spoke. But if you were interested, you should have been like, can I talk to you for a second? I know that probably would have been forward as a lady back then. But then again,
I wouldn't have done that.
It's appreciated too sometimes. It's appreciated too to say, hey, I find you attractive. It's not a big deal. I'm just saying, like, you look good. Oh, okay, cool. At least that would open the conversation somewhat, right? That would make you start thinking like,
or even if when you came to me, I didn't kind of just shun you off based on what I
which some people do.
Some people do, because if you have that impression like, oh nah, he's a player, oh no, he's talking to all those girls, you automatically just want to shut it off and shut it out. But I didn't do that, number one, because I already found you attractive. Do you get what I'm saying? I was interested. I've never seen you before. You're a new person, and I was interested. I was drawn to you when I saw you. So you coming up to me kind of just felt like, okay, what's here? What are we doing?
It's crazy. A lot of people, I've met a lot of women who say they intentionally avoid me because of that. Like, nah, you look good. You look like a player, and I don't want no business with you, because I don't. You bad for my heart.
For me. You too dangerous for me. I was like,
you bad for my heart, right? So
I looked at him like, look away,
and so over the years, right? We're still in the same environment. I finally get to be friends with this person. We talk and everything like that, and they tell me, the first time we met, I was avoiding you. Why? Because, man, you just look like, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
and you didn't really give a sense of approach me either.
Meaning
like you had a demeanor of like, don't just walk up to me. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
You are first of all, I wouldn't have never came up to you, because I kind of felt like you would come up to me.
Hey! Well done.
Excuse me.
Well done.
Let me adjust my crown. But I would have. What I'm saying is, you still have that to some extent, where like you have a demeanor. It's like, if you don't want somebody to approach you, they would know. Like, don't even come close to me. You get what I'm saying? And you had that too. It's not like you were mean or anything. It's just, before somebody would come up to you, they'll think twice. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. So it could have been that too, where people are like, yeah, let me not get shut down, or let me not get rejected, or let me not, you know what I'm saying? Like something like that. It could have been that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So given that, what is your impression now? 3 kids later, 8 years married, an entire lifetime together, right?
Forever and ever.
What is your impression now?
It's the same as my first impression. Man, he looked good. Like, I still feel the same way. Honestly, I don't know. And this is not even to be funny, or this is not even to like hype you up or whatnot.
You never hype me up.
Of course I can hype you up.
Achalugo.
You have already married this one.
Exactly.
No, but to be honest, like for me, I still have that, man, you look good impression. I still have that. I'm very much attracted to you. I look at you. Sometimes I look at you and I'm just like, you look good. You know what I'm saying? So I still have that impression. And then even now, for me, it's evolved more than just physical, obviously, because now I've seen you in deeper levels, in different levels, in levels where it's more than just, yes, I'm physically attracted to you, but my respect for you is even huge because I know who you are as a person. I know the kind of man you are, and it's like my impression of you is like, wow, I actually am amazed by you. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I adore you because you're the kind of human being that I would want in my life, and that's truly how I feel.
Now that's deep. Now because it's one thing to have an impression about somebody, is another thing to after so many years to still have that impression, and then even have that impression evolve into something even bigger and better and deeper than when you first met. That is telling on the kind of person you are.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
and I think that says a lot. I mean, talk about first impression with you. When I first saw you, obviously, I say this all the time, and it's still true, right? My entire orientation was changed. I've always thought I had a type,
right?
Until you showed up,
right? Right.
you know, and then the type was thrown out the window.
Forget about it.
All of that was just canceled completely, and it's crazy thinking about it now, because it's like, what confidence did I have at that time? I looked at you, and for real, Odogo 1000, I was like, I'm gonna marry you. Exactly. I was like, I'm gonna marry you. Yeah. And I again, I don't know where the confidence came from, or why I was saying that, or what the case may have been. I don't really know you like that. I don't know where you're from.
I don't even know if the relationship was gonna form from that moment.
Absolutely not. Yeah. But then again, something possessed me that day to make that statement. Yeah. And I think heaven heard it, the earth heard it, and they sealed it. Yeah. You know? Amen. Because, and that's why we gotta be careful too, the things we say out of our mouth, right? Because God has a way of saying, heard you. I got you. What you said, I'm gonna make it happen, right?
Don't we know
it? Exactly. So God has a way of doing that, and I think my steps were ordered to that meeting. It was the first time I had ever been to a place like that. It was the first time seeing you. Yeah. And whatever it was, I figured we were just gonna figure it out. Yeah. And I just said, "Hey, you single? Yeah, I'm single. Well, I'm gonna marry you." Well, marry you? Who are you?
I don't even know you.
And I'm like, just go think about it and give me an answer in 2-3 days, because we out of here in 3 days.
3 days.
But I need an answer. And for real, you came back and you're like, man, okay, prayed about it.
I don't know what it is, but
but we're gonna do this.
Let's do this.
You know, and I feel like that was just God ordering our steps and directing us at that time. Yeah. And as far as impression, man, whatever impression I had of you at that time, also the same today, you know, evolved into so much more, into man, I'm so proud and happy for the woman that you have become. But this is what I was saying, that I'm proud and happy for the woman I knew you could become. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like seeing you. Yeah. Of course, like you were saying, there's a lot of girls there, and everybody was looking at me, and I was looking at everybody, and we were just kind of, and for the most part, and I wouldn't say they were looking at me and saying that, hey, this guy's hot and handsome, and he's the only handsome guy here.
No,
I think it was really more because I'm a new guy.
Right? Everybody already knew each other in there, so it's like,
exactly.
Who's
so it's like,
new
who's
guy?
this new dude?
Right,
and that happens all the time. In any environment, you go to a new place, all of them are going to be looking at you. Who are you? Kind of thing. So I don't want to gas myself up and say, hey, homie was the only handsome man out there. No, I was just a new dude, right? And and that caught the attention of a lot of people.
Yeah.
But my attention was drawn more towards you. And it was beyond physical. And I think that's what I liked about it. Mm-hmm. It was more so an
because I wasn't your physical type at that point.
From a physical standpoint, no.
Yeah.
You were beautiful.
Right.
Very beautiful. Enough to switch me up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you still are, right? But what I'm saying is it was for me. For me, it was more chemistry. It was more spiritual. You know what I'm saying? It was more so a knowing that you can't explain.
Right.
And that happens a lot.
Right.
That happens where you have a knowing that you cannot explain.
You just know.
You just know. And this was one of them. This was one of those situations where I just knew, right? And again, I can't give you an elaborate explanation and say, this is why, this is what happened.
Right.
Somebody said this. No, I just knew.
Yeah.
And a lot of times a lot of people are in a relationship or they are in the process of getting into a relationship, and they're trying to find 5 steps, 6 steps on how should this work? How should that be? Should I do this? Should I do that? What should it? When you know, sometimes you just know.
Yeah.
There's no explaining it. There's no way of saying this is how I know or this is why I know. You just know. And many times you can't explain that knowing to a lot of people.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay now.
Get to know your host. That's what this entire series is all about.
Okay, so now I guess my next question for you is, and I was gonna say, you know what, let me not ask this, but you know what, I think we should, because it would help some people too that are in that phase of their relationship. Mm-hmm. When did we know we wanted to get married? Now, we knew we were gonna marry each other. That's a different question, right? Because you just said it right now. You knew. You said it. I'm gonna marry you from day one. So that's different. The question is, when did we know? Like, when did we? The better
question is, when did you know? Because I knew from day one. When did you know? When did you become a believer
that we were gonna get married?
Yes.
I knew right away too.
From day one?
The minute I came to you and I said yes to being your girlfriend, I knew we were gonna get married. I knew the minute I came back to you and I said yes, I'm gonna be your girlfriend. I knew. Mm-hmm. I knew we were gonna get married. I knew that was gonna be the case. I was like, yes, this is my husband. Okay. And I've had many confirmation beforehand, before meeting you, that kind of sealed it for me. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I kind of knew. But what I'm asking now is, when did we know? Right? When did we know us? When did we know we were gonna get married? Like, we were ready to get married, right? When did we know that it was time to transition our relationship from courtship or relationship to marriage? That's what I'm asking.
I think for me, that's a good question. I think for me, we had dated for about 6 years, and we took that long because we wanted to be sure. I wouldn't say we wanted to be sure. We were sure, but we wanted to.
We weren't ready at that time.
We wanted to be sure that we were ready for that next level.
Exactly.
What does that mean? That meant that if I needed to date you for another 6 years for us to be ready, I was prepared to. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Essentially, what I'm saying is, this is it for me. There's no plan B or anything like that. So I needed to be 1000% sure. Of course, there are other things that you have to get in place from a financial standpoint, from a life stage standpoint, and things like that. Of course, those things are there that you want to ensure are in place, logistics and things like that. But also, do we have the same understanding about marriage?
Yeah.
Right? After having been together this long, dated this long, do we have some of the majority of that dating in the 6 years that we dated was long distance, right?
Yeah.
So again, that was part of the consideration, right? Who was gonna move where? right? Was I
Right.
moving to New York, or she was moving back to Maryland, or she was
Right.
moving to Maryland, right? How was that going to work? And so that was part of the what elongated that dating phase. But again, do we have the same understanding of marriage? And if we don't, are we willing to work towards it? Do we have issues that we need to smoothing out before we pull the trigger? Are there things that I need to get out of my system? Are there things that you need to get out of your system? Are there mindsets that you need to shift, before we could make this work? So a lot of all that was in place before we said, you know what, let's do it. I think when I knew, okay, this is let's make this happen.
Like we're ready to make it happen.
I feel like we're ready to make this happen was I had moved here. I said here, but I had moved to New York.
Definitely not here.
Not here. I had moved to New York. I'd been living in New York for some time.
Right.
And I met your dad, I think, for the first time.
Yeah, I think that was the first time.
For the first time, right?
Yeah, that was on my graduation.
Exactly. I met him for the first time, and he sat down with me, had a one-on-one with me, and said, what is your intention for my daughter? And you're the only one she's ever brought home. And to my understanding, you guys have been dating for some time. Her mom knows that you guys are dating, but I want to talk to you man to man. What is your intention for my daughter? And I was 100%.
Yeah.
I met her for this long. We've dated for this long. I do want to marry her and things like that. And he said, what are you waiting for? And I said, honestly, I don't know.
Right.
He was like, you would never know.
Right.
Right? Because to me, I was like, I have to get this together. I have to get that together.
Right.
The business got to be on point. We got to have this kind of financial readiness. There are a lot of things that I wanted to do personally as a man before even talking about
it,
going
to that,
or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then he was like, you're never going to be ready if that's all you're waiting for, because you get those things along the way. The question is, do you have somebody you believe you can build with?
Yeah.
Do you have somebody that you believe that you can
grow
with and do all these things with, so that you can get that part out the way?
Yeah.
And then focus. That word focus did it for me. He was like, the moment you get married, you're able to focus on your life and goal and your goals and things like that.
Yeah.
And you're not distracted by the women. You're not distracted by, I still have to get married. You're not distracted by that. Happens. You're building a life as you're chasing your goals.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what?
That makes a lot of sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think about a week or so later, I'm like, hey, babe, what did do? You ready? And she was like, I've been waiting for you to be ready. I'm like, you were more ready than I was.
I was, because for me, remember, I had a timeline.
Oh.
My timeline was.
And you was like,
I had a timeline.
We hitting this timeline, buddy.
I had a thing where it's like, this is what I wanted for my life. I had spoken to God about it. I told him at this age, at that age, at this time, at this time. That was my mentality. But obviously, you can feel that way. But if you don't have the man, who you getting married to? You know what I'm saying? So it's not just having the timeline saying, okay, by this time I want to get. But at that point in time, we had been dating for some time already. It was like, okay, now school's done. We're getting into adult life. You know what I'm saying? Life is starting. Corporate life is starting, and it's like we're building, but we don't want to build separately. We want to start building together. So for me, it was just a matter of, okay, I feel like I'm going to be ready at this time. And being the fact that we've been dating for that long, for a period of time, I felt like, okay, to me, marriage is just a more glorified relationship. Everything that we're doing now, we're going to continue into marriage.
Pause.
Or more.
Pause. Did you hear that? Marriage is a glorified relationship, meaning whatever you're already doing in relationship
is what
you're gonna take it to a whole new level.
Absolutely.
Marriage is amplified relationship.
Exactly.
If you're, I think we used to say this, right? If your man slaps you and he beat on you, while dating, and you're like, well, I know
you're okay with it, and you don't run.
Once we get married, he ain't gonna do none of that no more.
It gets amplified.
Will you keep quiet? What? Nah. Nah. It's gonna go to a whole new level.
Yeah.
Because marriage is an amplified relationship.
Absolutely.
And that is why you got to take some time to date.
Yeah.
And find out about this person. And we said dating is a vetting thing. It's a vetting stage.
A vetting stage.
It took us 6 years to vet each other and to be sure that this was the one. For real. We knew, but did we really know, So we took 6 years in vetting, in finding out, in fact finding, right? And don't just tell me, let me find out for myself, right? If I tell you, what's the color outside and you tell me it's white, okay. But I go outside and it's blue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you may be telling me, maybe you're not lying. Maybe you're just telling me from your perspective, what you could see was white. But when I go out there, I'm seeing blue.
Yeah.
It's not to say you're lying. It's just the way you see it.
Yeah.
The question is, I need to make that judgment for myself and say, well, she sees it as like when you hear her say white, she really means blue.
Right.
But we're saying the same thing.
We're saying the same
It's
thing.
just that she says white and not say blue, right?
Yeah.
That's just a scenario. I'm just using that as an example, right?
Yeah.
In other words, you want to know for yourself. You want to go beyond what they're telling you to what you know to be true.
Yeah.
You could tell me you like chicken.
Yeah.
Right? You love making chicken. And I'm like, okay, great. But then every time we go outside and we go to a restaurant, I order you chicken. And you, I don't want chicken today. I don't want chicken. And then we go again. We do it again. I'm like, hold up now. You told me you love chicken. But there's no way I would find that out.
Chicken.
But I would not know that though if we never dated.
Yeah.
If we never went out, if I never took you to chicken restaurants.
Yeah, the dating phase is
important. It's very, very important.
It's not a set time on it. It depends on the level and the stage you're in your life, you know. For everybody
However
it's
long.
Different, but dating, that's important. Yeah.
But I think so. For me, that was when I knew. That was when I knew that. All right, it was time for us to get married from a logistics standpoint. And when I say logistics, I'm talking about age, stage, finances, all of that stuff was sorted and ready to go for
and
me.
We had already started. I'm sorry to cut you off. We had already even started living our lives like we were ready for that too, in the sense of we've started building together. Even in relationship, there were things we were doing in little ways. There were things we were doing where it was like, okay, we're preparing ourselves for when we get to the stage.
One example, we at that point had started putting finances together. Right, that's just one tiny example.
Now that's us. Let me tell you right now, because I know a lot of people have a thing when it comes to finances. We're not scared of finances when it comes to each other. Whatever it is, that's what it is. Now I know everybody's life and everybody's understanding is different. But for us, from the beginning, it's always been like, listen, what's yours is mine, what's mine is yours. That's just the way we were with each other. So we started doing that even before we got married. We actually started like putting money together even before we got, and it worked for us.
So that's when I knew. I knew when I spoke to your father and we had a one-on-one conversation and he gave me some wisdom. And he gave me perspective.
Yeah.
And that gave me the push the final push that I needed to make that decision and say, okay, great. Let's go ahead and do it. What's our time? Do we still have time?
I think we have time for one more question.
All right.
I'll leave that one to you.
What do you like most about being dating? I wanted to ask you, what do you like most about being married? But then I also wanted to ask, what has been the biggest adjustment for you? So pick whichever one you think is best for you to answer in the small time frame that we have.
Okay, what do I like most about being married? I think it's just having.
You're answering that, or you want to answer both?
I'm gonna answer both quickly.
Okay.
The first one, why do? All right, go girl.
What do
I like about being married? I honestly just feel is being married to my best friend. Having a lifelong partner in everything.
Heavy.
You know, it's one thing to do this life by yourself. It's another thing to have a partner, and not just any partner, my best friend. That's one thing I love about being married. And that's the key important thing. You don't just marry just to marry. You're marrying your person. I love being married. One thing I love about being married is the fact that I'm married to my person. I mean, my life is better because of it. So for me, having that makes a lot of things easier, makes a lot of things better. The fact that I have my person, it makes my life easier. So that's what I love about being married.
I love it.
Now, what is the biggest adjustment? I've had to grow up. In all honesty, I've had to grow up in the sense of I have responsibilities that I can't hide from. You know, you learn, they teach you, your upbringing, your parents teach you, you grow up, and you know, they prepare you for life as much as they can. But trust me, you don't know life until you start life.
Until life starts life.
Until life starts life. You know what I'm saying? So I've had to grow up, you know, in the sense of what it takes to be a good wife. Not just any kind of wife, a good wife. What it takes to be a good mother. Having 3 people that I'm responsible for, aside from my husband, having 3 children that I'm responsible for. I've had to kind of just like step it up. You know, I have my children to take care of. I have my husband to be there for. You know, I've had to learn to know when it's time to compromise, when it's time to kind of let some things go, when it's time to just be quiet, when it's time to speak up. You know, those things you learn when in your home, in marriage. And to me, I just sum it up as growing up. I sum it up as just growing up. That's the best way to say it. I mean, you don't get more adult than this, in my opinion. So I feel that's the biggest adjustment, where it's like, yeah, you go from single, you go from being young, and I'm still young, you know what I'm saying? But you go from doing all that and living your best life to still living your best life, but in a different way. It has a different outlook. And to be honest, I'll pick this over anything, any day, anytime. Because life is great when you're with the right person, and I love my family. I would not pick a different life, So the biggest adjustment is just growing up. You listen, you gotta get up, you gotta step up. On failing it, you gotta get up and take care of your children. There are times where it's like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that all at the same time, and I'm just overwhelmed. But I gotta do it because that is life. That's the life that I've chosen for myself. So you gotta grow up and step it up. That's been the biggest adjustment.
And you know what? Let me close on this. There is nobody else I would rather do life with.
I am feminine.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right. I hope we've shared a tip or two to help solidify your kingdom union, not only with yourself, but also with others, and most importantly, with God on today.
Yes, don't forget to like, share with your friends and family. Let them know MDB video is back. And make sure you comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know things you want to get to know about us. And make sure you hit that subscribe button if this is your first time watching us.
And until next time, be the light.
Be the salt.
And remember, all things are possible if
you
believe.
Bye.
Bye.